record this so that if people can't attend, that they can at least watch this here. So welcome, everybody. I have seen some of you before and some of you are new. My name is Jill Olausson, and I will be your professor this semester for this 16-week journey, and that is probably ending with a lot of you graduating. This course is actually a 16-week semester, but I think your final paper is due week 13 or 14, but we'll go over the calendar. So the last couple weeks, you really don't have any work to do for this course, which is kind of nice. I am in Maine. I'm on East Coast time. I'm renovating this beautiful house here. You can see it's all completely gutted. And sometimes that makes my mind kind of stand on all the work that we can do here. But yeah, I was working at APU for about 3 years, and my dad got sick, and so I had to make the decision whether to leave APU and get a job out here in Maine, or asked the dean if I could stay and work online. She said that I could stay and work online, so it was a great arrangement that's working for me now. I did my graduate degree online through Walden, and that was an asynchronous course like this one. I did my PhD at University of Utah, and that was a synchronous online course, so where we would meet like this every week, and that was required. So this course is asynchronous, and all of these virtual meetings I have are all optional. So you don't have to attend, and I'll try to record them all so that you can see them after. So if you guys want to go around, just do a couple minutes about who you are, where you're from, and what program you're in, and what you maybe hope to get out of this course. That would be great. So Sarah, can I pick on you to go first?
Sure. So I'm sitting in actually my brand new kitchen that we went through the same remodel mess. So it's kind of nice to sit with appliances behind me rather than holes in my wall. Let's see here. I am in my final term, final semester for my MSN. I'm a HAL student, so Healthcare Administration Leadership. And I am an ER nurse as of, well, last week was my last ER shift. And I joined the inpatient world Monday. So I've had 2 shifts so far, and I asked for some bedside because in order to be, my philosophy is to be an effective manager or leader, you need to know every job. So I did bedside for the first time in numerous years this week, which was a blast. Working with patients was super fun. My goal is to take over the universe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's too small, but you know, I'll work on a long-term goal at some point, but I live in San Diego, and I work at Sharp, and the location is about 4 miles from the border. So the population is awesome. It's completely diverse. You get a little bit of everybody. So that's
maybe you can just take over that little part of the world first.
Okay. I'll start with that.
Use your SMART goals, Sarah.
Yeah, that's right. So that's pretty much me. So I'm in this class, and then the clinical component with Dr. Reichel.
Great.
Yeah.
And then we have Ashley here. I'm kind of working my way around the tiles here. And Ashley is our writing coach that will be working with us this semester. So Ashley, why don't you give us a little bit about your background? And it's great to actually see your face. We've been communicating, so it's nice to put a face to a name.
Yeah. So my name's Ashley Lamelli. I'm a graduate writing coach here at the Writing Center at APU. I graduated last fall with my BA in English, and I'm in the MA in English program now. So ultimately my goal is to be a freshman composition professor, preferably at a community college. So I guess working at the Writing Center, I've gotten to see all kinds of different disciplines and learn about the different documentation styles and everything. And I think like nursing and the sciences and APA has been really interesting, learning about the writing style, about why, or like how scientists and researchers write with an intention to like just convey a study and then build upon other research. So yes, I'm really fascinated in writing, but in terms of like personal background, I'm from the high desert, a really, really tiny town I guess, just on the other side of the mountains over here in Azusa. And yeah, a couple of things about me. Obviously I like reading and writing. I'm really into weightlifting. I got into weightlifting recently, so that's been really fun. And I also like metal music. So
The
yeah.
two kind of go good together, right? You
They
put
do,
your
yeah.
headphones on and just lift.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so I'm actually going to a concert this Sunday for a band called Inferi. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's a little about me.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right, and then I see Carly up there next. Hi, Carly.
Yeah, well, I've been a pediatric nurse for 5 years now. I work at Children's LA, just on a med surge. And I'm at the Azusa main campus. This is my last semester. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm just looking forward to, learning more about my topic. I think I might do Munchausen by proxy. I have a good
Cool.
study for that. So that's kind of my plan. I'm from LA originally, lived here most of my life. I lived down in San Diego for 10 years. It's beautiful there. I miss it. I started at Rady Children's Hospital down there. So it's a nice area.
Great. Thanks so much, Carly. And I see Diana there, but I don't see your picture. So Diana, can you talk to us? Sometimes you can be muted, and let's see if you were muted or not. Let's see, Diana, yes. No, I don't even see that you have a microphone next to your name. But let's go to Rosalind. Can you unmute yourself, Rosalind? You did? Still can't hear you, but it looks like you did unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
just barely.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I put on my microphone, but now I'm talking into my computer. My name is Rosalind. I have been a nurse now for about 2.5 years. I was actually part of the ELM program at Azusa Pacific, and I work on a med-surg floor at Pomona Valley Hospital. This is my last semester. I'm in the FNP program, and
Great.
yes, I'm excited to be done.
Yay.
Classes, just like I feel like I've been in school my entire life. I'm like ready to just be done and graduate and just work.
Great. Well, I'm glad you're with us. I think going to school is almost like having a baby. Like, it's so terrible going through that childbirth experience, but after a while you forget it and you actually consider doing it again. All right. Diana, if you can talk at all, you can just go ahead and say, excuse me, and then go ahead and introduce yourself. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share my screen, and I'm going to go through our course here. Let me bring up the comprehensive exam Canvas course. And I am really apologize for the late start, guys. I had published the course, but for some reason, you guys weren't seeing it as published. So we just got it all fixed yesterday. So, if you do have any, so we should be all set and good to go now. But, this is our Canvas course here. This is my view, so your view might differ a little bit, but always, if you're on your home screen here, you'll have your announcements. So make sure you read all those, and then you'll go through, and this is kind of like the syllabus page. So you have my information here, you have Ashley's information. Here's the information about office hours. I'll go over that a little bit more. The syllabus is right here, and the syllabus and the course calendar are there. Shortcut to all the modules. And then this is kind of what we're doing each week here. I'll kind of laid out like a syllabus. Okay, so what I will go through first is just these virtual office hours. So I'm going to have this, I always put any times on your Pacific time. So I will have office hours 8 a.m. and on Thursday, let me just move you guys, Thursdays from 4 to 6. And if you want to make an office hour appointment with me outside of these times, please just call or text me, because I'm pretty available. But these are times that I've designated that I will be at my desk, ready for you guys to Zoom in and meet me. So if you click on any one of these links here, it should take you to my calendar. And then what you can do is it'll take you to one of these virtual office hours. You just click on that and put your name in there, and then I will get an email that you've made an appointment with me. So it's really that easy, and we'll use the same Zoom medium or platform. Here I have my cell phone. I don't really have an office number, so just use my cell phone, and you can always text. Email probably the best way to go first, but then you can text after that, and I'll get back to you. So the course syllabus is here, and make sure you go through all of that to look at all the course policies. The thing that I want to look at right here, the syllabus will have more information in it about course policies, but also more specifics about the assignments that are due. And the course calendar will tell you when everything's due. So pretty much this course, there is one assignment due, and it's, or two assignments due. One is your paper and one is your presentation. So what we do throughout the weeks is work on drafts of each section of your paper. So there's a comprehensive paper, and it consists of a introduction to a healthcare problem. And then you're supposed to look at this problem from all angles and kind of come up with some way to address this problem that is associated with your role as a master's prepared nurse. And then you operationalize how this problem will look in the healthcare setting where you are, and write that all out. And then you're going to say, how will you know that this solution to this problem is making any difference? So you say, what outcomes am I going to measure? And then you're going to say, well, how can this inform practice? How can this inform research? What are the conclusions here? So this isn't, you're not going to be really proposing a research study. This is proposing an actual, maybe like an evidence-based practice change. So something that is based on research that you can bring to your healthcare setting to improve upon the healthcare issue that you're looking at. So what we'll go through here is this week was really for you to kind of, if you've already worked on this healthcare issue that you're choosing for this course, kind of take this time to get all your articles and everything together. And like I always use EndNote, and we'll pop everything into EndNote here. So this is just an example here. So I have a bunch of references in here, and I can just search them up in the box here. If I want to search somebody's name, then I can search it. And if I need a reference really quickly, I just go to the preview, cut and paste that, and put it in here. But here's a good way for me to keep all of my information in here, and then I put it into little folders. So this can be helpful for you. If you have another way that you like to organize all your research articles, that is fine.
What are you talking about? I don't see anything.
Oh, you didn't see my EndNote when I came up? Hold on, let me stop sharing. Thank you for saying that. And then I'm going to share my screen. I think I was just sharing something else there. All right, so if I click on this now, do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for letting me know you can see that. So this is my EndNote here, and this is just a way to organize your research articles. So if you went into PubMed here and you found something, you could import it really easy into your EndNote, and it collects all your research there. And then when you're actually writing a paper, you can go into the paper and just tell EndNote to put that into your paper. So that's a whole nother topic there. If you're interested in that, I can do a whole video about how to use EndNote and how to organize that.
I believe the Writing Center also has YouTube videos about how to use EndNote and Zotero. I believe those are both documentation sources, but yeah, so we do have some YouTube videos on our channel too.
Thanks, Ashley. So that's something that we can do. I have Zotero, as you can see here, is another kind of bibliographic software that works with Google Docs, where EndNote doesn't work with Google Docs. So those are kind of the difference of those two. So this week, you're just getting together all the information you might have used in other classes, you know, in like your 504. Did you think about anything that was a bioethical dilemma with your healthcare topic that you had? And when you were in 508, did you start a table of evidence, or did you do a literature review, or did you come up with any papers that you would have used? In your clinical courses, did you find that there were guidelines for management of this healthcare condition that you're interested in? So try to kind of accumulate all the stuff that you have from your classes. Any questions with that?
So for this table, okay, because I did a paper that was obviously more broad because we have to really narrow it down. So is it okay to include those resources, but then I'm going to have to go back and find more like specific resources for whatever I'm narrowing it down to, right?
Right. Yep. So you can use all of those. You can bring them in, and then as we go through the weeks, you'll really be able to apply what you're learning more to, and those, I think all those questions will become a little bit more clear, how you'll use previous coursework and how that might apply to this paper.
Are we trying to like narrow it down right away, or are we going to get there like when I start the research this week?
So if you see here in this week 2, your discussion topic there will be comps topic. So that's where I want you to tell me about some ideas that you have for, I don't know, what's week 1 discussion, guys? Have you looked at that yet? Does it ask about what your research focus is?
I thought that was just introducing ourselves.
Right, so you just had an introduction. So during this week 2, I apologize because the weeks kind of switched around to match with the face-to-face course. So it's just during this week 2 where you'll be letting me know about some of your focus areas that you want to work on for this comprehensive paper, and then we'll try to narrow it down. I'll make sure that it's something that makes sense for the paper, and I'll give you feedback about that.
Okay, so the repository is due Sunday then, that table, you want to email to you?
No, there's no official assignment. This is just something, a way for you. That's week 1, is just get organized and start thinking about it.
Okay.
Thanks for your questions, Carly. So the week 2, what we're going to do is try to land on a topic for your comprehensive exam paper. And then let's just look at this rubric here. So in module 1, go into module 1 here. And we look at the readings. There's information about types of paper, selecting a topic, an exemplar of a topic that might be applicable or appropriate for writing a paper on. We have the comprehensive paper rubric that'll tell you how we're going to grade this and what the components are. There is also an option of you writing a scholarly paper if you like. That's more like doing an integrative review. And the goal of this is for you to write a publishable paper that you could submit to a journal. So most people, I think almost all the time, people do the comprehensive paper because this scholarly paper is very rigorous. But if you're interested in that, let me know. And then the comps presentation rubric is in there too. So if we go to the comprehensive rubric, kind of look at the different components of this 20 to 30 page paper that you'll be writing for this class. So we have the introduction where you describe what your problem is and your thesis. And then you have any kind of operational definitions that the reader might need to know before we delve into reading your paper. For example, what is Munchausen syndrome? Things like that. And then you will also maybe tell us a reason why you're choosing this topic for your paper. Then you'll go into writing a background and significance. What is the epidemiology behind this healthcare topic? What's the prevalence, the incidence? What is the burden of this topic to the person, the caregiver, to society in the healthcare setting? And why is it important that you're looking at this? What difference, why is this, and kind of your background will tell us about that when you talk about kind of your burden that this healthcare condition might have for other people. So overcoming this or finding a solution is usually why that is significant. It could be significant if you talk about, in the Chula Vista area, if you're talking about, type 2 diabetes, you might say, well, this is significant here because it's 70% Hispanics, and we know that diabetes is more prevalent in the Hispanic population. So it's just kind of an example of why that might be more significant to look at that in that area. Then what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I want to know more about this healthcare issue, and you're going to do a review of the literature. And so it's really this review of the literature is going to be dependent on what your topic is. And you're going to ask a question. You're going to do a search of the databases to see what kind of research is out there about this topic. And then you're going to synthesize the evidence and say, well, based on this review of the literature, we can see that there's a gap in our knowledge, or one of the solutions for this is, or something that is building a case throughout your paper that this is why you were, because of the background significance, because of the results of the review of the literature, you were going to propose this healthcare solution. Does that make sense? So we're going to delve into each one of these really throughout the week. So this is just a really general, broad overview. So we'll go into each one of these sections throughout the course. The next part is where you're going to synthesize the literature and synthesize, and then you're going to come up with a summary from that. You're going to say if there's any kind of related issues to your health care issue there and write about that. You're going to try to find a conceptual model or a theoretical framework that also backs up your solution to this healthcare issue. So the theoretical framework or conceptual model should say, this is an issue, and there is I'm proposing this solution because the research shows there's a relationship between this variable and this variable. So we will go way into that, but I think maybe an example of that is if you're going to say, we're going to use, in Chula Vista for type 2 diabetes, we are going to use a telephonic support to engage patients in their self-management of their diabetes. And we could say, well, we know from the chronic care model that they say if you engage patients in their health care, that outcomes are better. So that's just a brief example, but your conceptual model theoretical framework should add to this argument that we're building that really supports your proposal to overcome this healthcare issue that you are developing. And then your solution should also be based on what your master's prepared nursing role is. So if you're FNP, it should be, I'm going to overcome this healthcare issue as a FNP by assessing, diagnosing, educating. So you want to incorporate all the different spheres of being a NP. If you're in the healthcare administration leadership, you're going to say, well, I might use a systems way of thinking to see how we can come up with a solution as me as an administrator, what kind of systems might be involved, or what are the variables that are all involved in this healthcare solution? Who might I have to hire? So you might look at it more on a bigger systems model there. And then in the end, you're going to have your proposed intervention, you're going to have your outcome timelines and evaluation and conclusions there. And the specific guidelines for this will be in the syllabus, about how many pages it should be. It should be about 20 to 30, not including the title page or the appendices or the references. And it should be using APA format. So what kind of questions do you have about that?
Hey, Dr. Jill. Can I pick a topic that I haven't worked on yet?
Sure.
Or do I have to go back to a process or a topic I've already talked about?
It would probably be easier for you if you did something that you've already worked on, like you were looking at heart failure, right? And how you're going to roll out a heart failure clinic. But, you know, why limit yourself to that? If you were going to actually take over the Chula Vista world, maybe you want to go into something a little bit different. So, yep, have at it.
Okay, I'm trying to tie it with the project that the CNO and I are going to work on for the other part. So I've already kind of started to research that angle. So I'll wait and get your feedback. But that's kind of what I'm trying to put the two together so that I'm focused researching at the same time both classes.
Sounds great.
Is there a number of references we're aiming towards obtaining?
No, I'd say in your review of the literature, you should have at least, 15 articles that you're basing your proposed solution on.
Okay.
And so, if you have something that's a recent systematic review and it already incorporates all the research out there, you might have this systematic review and some clinical guidelines and things like that. So it really depends, but you should have, your proposal should be based on evidence.
Okay.
But I'd say, 10 to 15. So week 3, we're going to do our background significance, and you're going to do it. This will be your first draft that you hand in to me. So on a weekly basis after week 3, you really should be handing me in a Word doc of the draft of your paper. And I think it would be most helpful for you all if this is a running document. So you give me your background and significance. I put little comments on the side, and then you fix those, and then you add on the next section. So I will, as we're going through, then I'll go back again to your background and significance and look at that again, say, okay, this looks good, or a few more tweaks could be made. And so I think that would be good if you do kind of a running draft of your paper. We are so blessed to have Ashley be able to get her Writing Center lens and take a glance at these papers at 3 different times during this semester. And so I'll have you give me a copy of your draft first. I'll make some comments on there. And then the following week, in week 4, you should set up a meeting with Ashley. And then she's going to look at your paper and make suggestions about grammar, organization, APA. I'll also be looking at this, but what I'd really like Ashley and I to kind of pair up and work well together, where I can focus on the meat of your paper and the content, and is this really the prevalence of this condition here, and are you making a really good argument here? And then what Ashley can maybe help you do is help you with is more of this organization, and using the topic sentences and how you can have your headings help you organize your paper. Ashley, you want to speak into that at all? Does that sound?
Yeah, I think one question I have is, in these sessions, do you want me to work with students to address the concerns that you've marked on their comments, or do you want me to kind of put those aside and just see what I see in the papers?
I think if it's content where that's specific to nursing and their healthcare issue, I'm not going to expect that you go to the Google and see, is this really true or not? That's something that I can do. So what I'd really like you to look at is kind of the organization, organization of the paper, and help them with that.
Structure of the argument and
right.
Cohesiveness. Okay. Yeah, right. I can do that.
Because you guys, this paper is all about telling a story. And so each piece, and it's hard because it's such a long paper, and you're doing it in sections. It's kind of hard sometimes to step back and say, is this all flowing and making sense? So I think that's where Ashley can really be such a great benefit to take a look at the paper holistically and give you guys some comments and feedback on that.
Yeah, so in the chat box that we have here, I have attached a couple of links, but just to help with that, when you step back for the whole paper and kind of see how your argument fits together in pieces, there are some techniques that we have with reverse outlining and some resources that we have available. So I'll definitely be putting more links in the chat box for now.
Cool. That'd be great. So that is one time you'll be meeting with Ashley, and she is available face-to-face or online. And so that information is in the syllabus page of Canvas. And Ashley, I know you want me to put it in the hard copy of the syllabus and send that to you, so I'll do that after this meeting. So week 5, 6, and 6 are really looking at the review of the literature. And I always like to tell people the review of the literature is almost like a standalone paper that you could be writing. So we devote a lot of time to that because this is the whole basis of your MSN solution. Then related issues here is week 7, and then we ask that you meet with the writing coach by the end of this week. And then we have your theoretical frameworks, something about your role here, what your role is, and maybe what your professional organizations say that your role should be, what the current agendas are for in your role, what's going on, and how you can with your preparation in your education, how you are uniquely prepared to overcome the situation. Then we talk about writing the intervention, the outcomes, and here this is meet with the writing coach by the end of week 11, and I think that will really give you enough time to get your final paper submitted on Monday of week 13. So that will give you 1 week there, 1 week and a day, actually, to get that draft together. On week 14 is Comps Day, where you have a poster and a PowerPoint, and we will go through how we can do virtual PowerPoint presentations, but you are also welcome to create a poster that you can bring to the nursing building on the Azusa campus on this day and be there with your peers and colleagues and to show off the work that you've done during this semester. Week 15 is there's some predictor exams, and you'll get emails from Heidi or Julie, your program managers for NPs. Now, Sarah, you don't have to take the predictor exams. Yay. And then week 16, we have some final evaluations in the evening of excellence. And then graduation December is from an old calendar, right? When is graduation? August?
I think they would still have to.
Graduation still December?
I think they still have to walk in the fall.
We don't have a December one, I mean a summer one.
Not a summer one.
Okay. So, broad overview, probably very overwhelming, but I think, we're going to spend time each week on each one of these sections, and I think this course is ideal for really online because you're each going to be working on a different topic, so I can really give you, tailored feedback each week. But our discussions will kind of be a place where you can put out there what your plan is, what you're working on, so you can get feedback from your classmates that might have some ideas for you. And it's an area too where I can give you some more ideas there before you actually write your draft. So, even when I did teach this course face-to-face, the last whole half of the class was really just back and forth with drafts of papers. So I think this will be great. I can always do YouTube videos if you guys need any clarifications of any points. So that's sometimes helpful, and I'll do that. What else? Any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
I kind of struggle sometimes finding good research articles. Ashley, would you be who I could come to help me be better at searching for articles, or is there someone else to go to?
Yeah, our kind of department answer is the resource librarians would be the best people to talk to in terms of finding or looking in the right databases and looking for the right articles, knowing what keywords to use. They know how to use like the quotations and dashes and asterisks and all that for finding the right articles. So I would suggest the resource librarians, which you can chat with them, you can email them, you can, I believe, video chat them too if you set up an appointment, but they would be the best people to go to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Carly, when I was working as a diabetes educator, I had a patient who had Munchausen syndrome, and she would always give herself extra insulin, so she would get hypoglycemia and then attention from that. So I thought that was so fascinating. So I'm excited about your topic.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it by proxy. It's the mother doing it to the child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm going
to learn a lot from you guys, I'm sure.
So. Yeah, so it's
wow.
the same idea, but it's the mother that has the illness, but they're doing it to the child. So it's hard.
Yeah, fascinating. Diana or Rosalind, you guys have any questions? Sorry, you can't see your face.
I don't have any questions right now, but I think if anything comes up, I can just email you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, please do. And then let's look at this chat here in the chat box. Okay, we got some references from Ashley. That'd be great.
Yeah, the first link is the link to our YouTube channel. The second one is where you can actually make your appointments. I'm not sure if all of you are going to be doing your appointments online, but I would assume most of you are. So you just have to make sure that when you're making the appointment to select yes or no. No schedule, yes, schedule online appointment, because no is to schedule a face-to-face appointment. So you could see the options on there, but yeah, so there's some little details about that. And if you have any questions about making the appointments, you can call the Writing Center, you can email us, you can email me. My email's on the like shortened kind of syllabus with the calendar. And yeah, and then the last link is the resources that we have, which is we have a shortened APA handout, which is just like a quick reference guide. We have a sample APA paper, and things about grammar and punctuation and all that.
All right, I will copy and paste these links here into an announcement, so you can access these, because I think once we hang up from here, those will be gone, right? think in the video, the links don't work.
Okay. If it's recorded, they might, I would think that they would pop up at the time in the video that I inserted them, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts? All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys all who came in person. I know everybody has a busy life, work schedule, so thanks for being here. And that's all I got.
I really look forward to looking at your guys' work and seeing what you guys write about. So,
Ashley, I always learned so much from these papers.
I probably won't understand everything, but I will appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay, take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.